Hello YouTube. Little quick video. Got off at 6 o'clock this morning and it is now 7 o'clock in the evening. I was watching a video on Bobby's channel and about Dior Homme Parfum. And it made me really think about it when he was, mentioning about reformulations and stuff like that. And what are reformulations? What is a reformulation? There's different ways to go about it. There's different things to go about it. Sometimes it's a rearranging of ingredients. Sometimes you're adding an ingredient. Sometimes you're taking away an ingredient. And I'm not talking about repackaging. I'm not talking about putting more dye in or less dye or a different color of dye in a perfume, because that's really arbitrary to consider that a reformulation if the ingredients if the ingredients that affect the smell, I should say, have changed. Sometimes it's a changing of the perfumer's alcohol. It depends. It depends. It's not really a set thing. Sometimes the companies are forced to reformulate. Sometimes companies choose to reformulate because of cost. I'm not going to get into the European Union or IFRA or whatever else there is or anything like that, because some people are kind of for it, some people are against it. I'm kind of undecided on it. I've never had an allergic reaction to a fragrance on my skin. So, for me personally, I would rather have a lot of the ingredients in there. I'm okay with some of the carcinogens that are actually all the carcinogens. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, the FDA lets us eat. The FDA lets us eat, all this crap that we're eating, but, a perfume empire won't let us wear certain things because it's been deemed unsafe for the skin, but, they allow clone fragrances and nobody really even knows if those are actually safe for the skin. So these are my thoughts on reformulations. Do I think it is worth it to buy the original formulation or the first iteration of the fragrance, maybe the first year release, because there's one fragrance here I have that is a first year release of a fragrance, and it's notably worth the security of knowing when your bottle was made. Not necessarily having to guess or say, it was made somewhere between 1990 and 2001. That's 11 years of things that could change. They might not have been a noticeable reformulation, but it could have been a reformulation. There is a bottle of Samsara that I'm considering buying. It's an original year release. It is an original year release. Has the correct box, the correct fragrance, all the things check out on it. And for me, it's worth the security of knowing that, the smell hasn't been changed, because to me, the smell of a fragrance is what it's all about. Some people say, I enjoy this packaging or this color of juice, but to me, it doesn't really matter. As long as the sprayer works fine and I'm able to, what was I going to say? As long as the sprayer works fine and the bottle isn't leaking, I could honestly care less about the packaging. Some packagings are nice just to be able to know it's going to sit there and not, randomly fall over or anything like that. But for me, like I said, it's worth the security of knowing that, hey, this is a vintage. I have it. I know it smells original. It smells closest to its mint being that it was supposed to be. It's how the fragrance was supposed to smell originally. It's supposed to have all of the containing thoughts, all of the containing ingredients that the perfumer, that the creative director wanted it to have. and I don't have to worry about, oh, does it have this in it? Was this taken out? Was the oud taken out and it was replaced with a bunch of isoe and guaiac wood and cedar? I don't have to worry about that. I can just, look at it and say, hey, this is the notes it has. It has it. And, do original formulations last longer? That's kind of up for everyone else to decide, because if a fragrance, let's say, Dior Homme, the original, only lasted, 2 hours on my skin, and it lasted 12 hours on your skin, and then you try the new stuff, and it lasts 2 hours on my skin, and it lasts 20 hours on your skin. It's kind of hard to say whether or not, projection or longevity actually is, well, I think it is related to reformulations in some way. However, everyone's skin is different, but the fragrance itself is the same. If the fragrance itself, it's the constant. It's not the variable. It's a constant. I want the fragrance to be a constant on my skin. I don't want it to be changed or altered, and that's why sometimes I'll spend the extra $20-$30 to get the vintage rather than a reformulated or a most recent version. I think it's worth it. One fragrance in which I bought recently that really pushed me to buy was the first batch, the first release, the first formulation of Le Lion. Man, this is just rubbery, leathery, labdanum with a lot of musky nuances. Honestly, to me, this is not like Shalimar. There are some similarities, but they are. I don't think that they were meant to smell like one another. I don't think that Chanel was trying to go for the Shalimar type. I think that this just so happened to have some resemblances of Shalimar. That's what I think. Up next, we have Ombre Nomad. I did a video on this. I might be doing an updated video. I think that the more and more I smell the two bottles, the more and more I see that there are differences. Maybe that's me wanting there to be a difference, but I get some differences, some more differences, especially in the longevity and the projection aspect. I was going to buy this fragrance, Noir Pieces, and then I noticed that Christo had his bottle for sale. So I said, I might as well just go ahead and spend and get the vintage. Might as well go ahead and spend the money, get the matte cap. He was selling it for a great price. I couldn't ask for anything else. Fragrance, I kind of wish I wouldn't have bought the vintage version. And this isn't necessarily the vintage. This is a 90... I can't remember if this is a 98 or a 92 bottle. I'm just going to go, I think it's the 1998 bottle. Don't hold me to it. Hard stuff to wear. Jesus freaking Christ. Oh, yeah. This is just... The fragrance itself isn't rancid. The fragrance itself is perfectly intact. I actually bought this in a sealed... sealed, brand new in box. It's just so hard to wear. It's just so old school, old manish, just hard to wear. There are so many other classic fragrances that smell better than this. This just to me is honestly not a good smelling perfume. It's just not. It's very hard. I know the Yadigan is supposed to be like a sword that was used during the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman maybe, in the Middle East. And I do not think this captures the Middle East well at all. I think this to me honestly smells like brown, no, it smells like orange mud. It smells like orange mud, and then a rabbit has died choking on a carrot. That's what it smells like to me. And then we have Dior Homme Parfum. This is a 75 ml. I really like this fragrance. I kind of wish, honestly, I wish the sweetness was toned down. Me and Rich Mitch, I commented, he said To him, he just thinks this is just one big pile of leather. To me, I just get way too much sweetness. To me, if the sweetness was toned down, I would really like this fragrance a lot more than I do. I think it's great. I do like it. I just wish that I don't even think I've ever looked at the bottom of this. It's honestly too dark to read. Made in France, Christian Dior, 75008, Paris, France, 75 ml. Oh. And the thing is with this, the bad thing is the bottle is so dang dark you can barely read it. You got to hold it in a certain, way of light. And then this is an original year release fragrance. And there's a couple of them on there that were kind of, do I buy the 30 ml? Do I buy the 50? This is a 50 ml. I didn't want to see it yet. I think it's a 50. Yeah, 50. This is a 50 ml. Do I buy the 50 ml? What do I do? And at the time, this wasn't going for that much, so I opted to pay a little bit more to get the 50 ml in a brand new inbox. Had never been sprayed before. I had to, squirt the trigger 2 or 3 times. And this is Balenciaga Poro. Back when you could really find these bottles. Balenciaga Poro. I really love this bottle. I think the bottle is so beautiful. I wish that a lot of these brands would kind of go back to this outlandish kind of style bottle. I think a lot of people have. Don't get me wrong, I love the simplistic look of this, or the apothecary potion style of this, but this is just a pretty bottle. I love the little gold right here. It's not real gold obviously, but I just love it. I love the look, I love the style. But, my final thoughts are, you choose what you want to do, but I feel like that it is worth to get the vintage. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain instances in which they have reformulated the fragrance to make it more wearable, like with Musk Ravageur. The original release of Musk Ravageur was so hard to wear and so potent that Frederic Malle requested for Maurice Rochelle to reformulate it after the first year. And then Invasion Barbare was reformulated. Nobody ever talked about it, but it was reformulated, and people said they liked it better. So, it is what it is. You choose what you want to do, and you do what you want to do with your money. Hope everyone has a great day.